everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery. In our video studio today, we wanted to tell you about the Redline RL2 DTM 3-pin sight. So this is yet another offering from the folks at Redline in a bow hunting primarily sight. You could use this for 3D as well, but this is mainly going to live in the bow hunting world. And this is what I'm going to call a hybrid sight, in that you have 3 fixed position pins in here, but it is on a slider, so you are going to be able to move this sight up and down. So we'll talk about that in a second. But let's start with the pins here. So I mentioned it is a 3-pin sight. They are 3 different sizes. Your top 2 are going to be 19 thousandths, with your bottom pin being 10 thousandths. Typically, that's what you want. You want your pin that's going to be used for the longest distances to have the smallest fiber, because obviously as you get farther distances, your target gets smaller. The bigger pin's going to cover more of it. The smaller pin's going to allow you to aim a little more precisely. So 19 thousandths for the first and second, 10 thousandths for the third. This is a dovetail sight. In other words, you can take the bracket off of that, and this dovetail incidentally will fit in the Matthews Bridgelock dovetail cutout. So this sight is going to work with those bows, and you will have enough right adjustment. That's where a lot of the sights typically run into issues with Bridgelock, is they fit the dovetail, but then you can't push it far enough to the right for a right-handed shooter, left for a left-handed shooter. This one has enough adjustment that you won't have that issue. But if you are mounting it on the side of the bow, you are going to have a 5-inch bar. It is going to give you, between the different divots, 2.5 inches of adjustment forward and back to get it positioned exactly where you want it for your sight picture. You got the big knob up top here. It's going to lock it down. A unique feature on this sight is this mounting bracket. You can see I've got different holes here. What that does is that allows me to move this bracket up and down on the bow sight. You know, when you're just have the 2 holes, which is standard, those may not enable you to get shooting out to 100, 110, 120 yards. Well, here you can move that bracket to different positions, which may allow you to get to that maximum distance you want to get to. Coming down to the sight here, everything here is toolless. This is going to be my locking knob for the adjustment wheel. So I'm just going to loosen that, and then I can move the sight up and down, get it to where I want it, lock it into place, and then that thing is not going anywhere. Same for your windage. This is toolless. You can see that wing nut. I move that, and then I have, you can hear the clicks. So that's going to be the clicks moving left and right for my windage. Obviously, you're only going to do that when you're sighting in. You do have, as I mentioned, if you're going to use this for Bridgelock, you do have this screw right here, and you can see the lines on the barrel. So if I have to move it very far to the right, loosen that, I can shove the scope all the way in, give me that right adjustment that I'm going to need. Second and third axis adjustment. So you are going to have your second axis adjustment. You're going to see 1 screw right there, 1 screw right there. Of course, second axis is going to move the sight this way. And third axis adjustment, you're going to have screws on the side there. This is your lock at the top. You're going to loosen these screws, and then you will be able to pivot the scope this way. That is your third axis adjustment. Something that's cool here from Redline is you do have a little bit of a shade here. This is going to block some glare, as opposed to it being simply vertically cut. You know, it's like the visor on your hat. Just give you a little protection as you're looking through into your sight pins. You are going to have the level on the outside, a high-vis bright green ring to get your scope centered in your peep sight. There's lots of fiber on the outside, and this is encased inside a plastic sleeve So your fiber is not exposed, it's protected in here, but it's going to gather, it's exposed to the light, so you will get all the light gathering capabilities there. On the back here, you're going to have a removable ring here, so if you wanted to add a lens, you can. You've got the removable lens ring right there, lens retainer. Let's come up to your indicators here. So you are going to get 2 indicators. There's 3 pins inside, you're getting 2 indicators. What I would do is I would set 1 for my top pin and 1 for my bottom pin. Then my center pin, really I'm only going to use that in the upmost position. So to get maximum distance, I'm going to push the scope all the way up. Then I'm going to set my pins for 20, 30, 40. That's how I would do it. So I know in the up position, my indicator will be at 20. This one will be at 40 for the bottom. I know my bottom one, or my middle one, will be at 30. Then once you start making adjustments, you're only using the top pin or the bottom pin anyway. You're using it as a single pin sight. But having that bottom indicator, that will allow you to use that bottom pin and get maximum distance. Now on the side here, you can see I've got many holes there where I can move these indicators, get them to wherever I need them in order to be able to use my sight tape. You can see the blank tape there, that's going to be my setup tape. In the pack, you are going to get 40 different sight scales, and those sight scales do go from 20 to 100 yards. So obviously they're based on arrow speed, and probably somewhere in there you're going to find the one that matches your arrow speed. So lastly, in the pack you are going to get a light. Where that would mount is right here on top. So if you're hunting low light situations, hunting in a ground blind, whatever, and you do need to add a light to be able to see your pins, it does come with one in the pack. All right, so that is the Redline RL2 DTM 3-pin sight. Great sight from the folks at Redline for primarily bow hunting, but also can be used in 3D. If you want to see this scope on our website, be sure to click the link in the description below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. And as always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at lancasterarchery.com.